Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today as we learn about Dr. Robert Gagne's work in the field of instructional design and learning theory. He introduced us to the conditions of learning, which is a framework that outlines how people learn different types of knowledge and skills. So, Dr. Gagne proposed that effective learning occurs when instructional methods are tailored to specific types of learning outcomes, which can range from simple signal learning to complex problem solving. His famous 9 events of instruction provided educators and instructional designers with a structured approach to crafting educational experiences that engage students and that instructors are able to help them in every step of the way in order for students to master certain knowledge or skills. What is most remarkable about Dr. Gagne's legacy is his insight into the hierarchical nature of learning. So here in this module, the hierarchy of learning, it shows us that mastering complex skills and knowledge scaffolds upon the understanding of fundamental concepts. So learners are able to scaffold their prior knowledge in order to build more complex knowledge and skills. Dr. Robert Gagne's contributions extend far beyond these highlights, influencing countless educators, shaping instructional design, and enhancing the learning experiences of students, workers, and military personnel worldwide. His work reminds us of the power of thoughtful, evidence based educational practices, which continue to inspire innovation in teaching and learning. Dr. Gagne was drafted into the Army Air Corps to advance the development of psychomotor tests for aircrew classification. He worked with Arthur Melton, James Gibson, and Paul Fitts, who were experts in modern applied psychology. Upon returning to civilian life, Gagne joined Melton at the Air Force Personnel and Training Research Center. He served as the first research director of the Perceptual and Motor Skills Laboratory at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. His contributions from the Army Air Corps included psychometrically sophisticated selection tests, the use of task analysis in training, the use of films and other visual audio methods in teaching, and teaching machines and programmed instruction with branching programs. The 9 events of instruction are a framework for designing effective teaching and learning processes. It provides instructors a structured framework for the systematic design of instruction. Also, it focuses on student engagement, which leads to more interactive lessons because it encourages active learning. It's also widely applicable to a variety of areas, such as K through 12, higher education, workforce development training, and military. The 5 categories of learning impacted instructional design a lot. The first being diversification of instructional designs because each category of learning requires a different type of instruction. Secondly, it provides customized feedback for each category because, again, each learning requires a different form of feedback. The learning hierarchy has profoundly impacted the field of education because it reshaped the approach to teaching, curriculum development, and student assessment. So, at the heart of the learning hierarchy is a simple but powerful idea that learning should progress from simple to complex, which is why it's a hierarchy, starting with signal learning at the base, because it is the simplest form of learning. And at the top of the pyramid is problem solving, which is considered the most complex form of learning. So, this approach is able to ensure that learners are fully prepared to step by step make it to the most challenging step of the hierarchy, which is problem solving. And so instructors are able to do this by scaffolding and building on students' prior knowledge and skills. So, this structured approach has not only improved instructional strategies, but it has also enhanced learning outcomes because learners are less likely to be overwhelmed by concepts that they have not learned yet or that they seem too complex because the instructor is actually able to step by step with the steps of the hierarchy kind of guide them towards thinking in a more complex fashion in order to solve that problem. Um, so it recognizes that students progress at different rates as well, and it encourages the instructors to kind of meet the individual needs of students. And so it allows for the accommodation of diverse learning styles and paces as well. So this personalization is able to kind of give each student the opportunity to achieve mastery at their own pace. It also supports the effective transfer of skills and knowledge. And by teaching students the underlying principles of the subject rather than them just like memorizing or any form of like lower level learning in the Bloom's taxonomy, um, this hierarchy kind of pushes students to um, get to the top and develop those problem solving abilities by scaffolding, signal learning, stimulus learning, chain learning, and all those other steps. So it allows the educators to actually pinpoint exactly where students may be struggling and provide the necessary support to overcome those hurdles so that they can make it to the next step of the hierarchy.